Hello, I'm Meganova, and this is Pillow Talk, where the series where I talk about, well, a series, a movie, a game, whatever that I have recently just either finished or at least just played a bit of. Yeah, for games, it can just be my first impressions of them, and for series and movies is obviously when I'm done with them. Um, okay, but so I just finished watching Citrus, the Shoujo Ai anime of the season, and well, overall, I did enjoy it. There were parts here and there that I weren't the biggest fan of. By the way, there's probably gonna be some spoilers in this video, so if you don't want to risk getting spoiled, then I would suggest you turn off now. But the biggest problem is a problem I have with a lot of romance anime in general. It's the whole will they, won't they dynamic where it's constantly going back and forth with if they will get together or not. Because just as you think they're about to get together, something happens that suddenly, oh, now they're mad at each other because one thing or the other. And I mean, sometimes it kind of makes sense, but other times it seems a bit forced. Like, okay, so the main premise is these two girls become stepsisters. Uh, there is Yusu and Mei. Yusu is the Gyaru type girl who is like blonde hair, lots of makeup and jewelry and all that kind of stuff. And then there's Mei, who is the stuck-up student council president. And they become stepsisters because Yusu's mom marries Mei's dad. Um, it's kind of I don't know how exactly they got married because we don't see the dad at all until like some episodes in because apparently he's always out traveling. But how were they able to get married? That's not really explained. That's a bit odd. Maybe if it was explained and I missed it somehow. Um yeah, that was a bit odd, but not too unforgivable. Um, but yeah, the main thing is that May, because of a lot of things that has been happening to her, she seems to be very socially awkward. Like she is not great with social interactions. So I mean, sometimes it makes sense that some of the things she does that ends up pissing off Yusu or confusing her. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense because she's not very good at social interactions, but probably the most egregious one. Because the thing is, yes, there's the whole, oh, they're sisters dynamic, but there's only stepsisters. The problem here is there is at least once or twice where Yusu is like, oh, we can't be doing this because we're sisters. The problem is, at this point, they have already been kissing and fondling each other earlier, where that wasn't a problem at all. So why is it now a problem at this point? Like, I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me. But in many other ways, it did seem a bit realistic because there were also a lot of times where Mei, she was like, well, it's kind of weird that we're two girls and we're doing this. I guess it's not very progressive in that way. Well, if I'll just gonna inject some of my personal politics into this. I think, like the preferred conclusion to get to in terms of like homosexuals is that we get to a point where we just don't care. where it's like we don't care whether you are dating a man or a woman, regardless of your own gender. It's just what fits you. I think that would be the best way to go, but there's probably many years off before we can reach a point like that. But that's a completely separate issue from this. So yeah, there was a lot of back and forth. I know I'm harping a lot on it, but there is a lot to like in this show. Though I will admit it is a bit like a kind of a B tier show in that it's a bit of a, I would say, to me personally, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure because I can see that it's not necessarily like super great, but I'm still enjoying it. Like there are a lot of parts of it that annoy me, but overall I do enjoy it. Like I do like to see their relationship building up. It goes a little bit too slow for my liking, but at least it is building to something. And here's the first major spoiler. At the end of and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more because the end of it heavily implies there's gonna be more seasons. At the end of the first season, in the last episode, they do officially start dating. Which is at least something. Like, there's many other shows like this where we go 12 episodes and they are at the exact same place as where they started. And I fucking hate those kinds of shows. It annoys me to no end. When it's cut. Funnily enough, one of my favorite shows, Bokura wa Mina Kawaiso, is that show actually has that trope, but all the side characters kind of saves that one. Because all the side characters are so fun and quirky that at least you can have fun with them, regardless of how frustrating the attempted romance in this show is. Because there's still nothing really with the two people who are supposed to be the main couple, but never really becomes a couple. I don't know if they do in the manga later on. I haven't read it. I'm not very good at getting myself to read manga. Yeah. I have a hard time focusing because of my ADD. But yeah. So, what else is there? I guess the problem is that I've been watching each episode like every week, so I can't necessarily remember everything that has been going on. Actually, just a second. Yeah, just so I can mention the names, because I'm not very good at remembering names at the best of times, and when it's in a foreign language, that doesn't make it easier. I mean, it's gotten easier with time with me watching more anime, but okay. So, but yeah, as you would expect of a romance series, there is a lot of, and as I've told, there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of drama with other. Actually, that's kind of a funny trope I have noticed in a lot of these Shoujo Ai or Yuri anime and manga. Somehow, all the lesbian girls just seem to like find each other very easily, and I'm not sure how. It seems to always be in these types of stories, like but I guess it's mostly because when you're watching most regular anime or whatever the fuck you want to say, there is very little in terms of like homosexual people, because, well, like it or not, homosexuals are still like very much a minority. Which, I mean, they should be, or else the human race would kind of start dying out. Well, there's also artificial insemination, but that's a topic for a completely different kind of video. Um, but yeah, but somehow in these stories there's suddenly just a whole bunch of lesbian or gay people, and I just find that kind of funny. It's not really a critique. It's just like a quirk of these kinds of shows. Um, but yeah, there is Himiko, who is the vice student council the vice president of the student council, and she apparently has a big crush on May. And also, there is a lot of like sexual harassment going on in this show. Like there is a lot of, or well, yeah, there's a lot of like non-consensual kissing and stuff. So if you're not into that, not sure if this show is for you. Like, I mean, it seems to be a thing that happens a lot in romance anime in general. So I'm not sure if if it's even important for me to mention this. I just saw a lot of people in the comments who were complaining about that aspect a lot, so I felt like maybe I had to mention it. There's Himiko. She's the vice student council president. And yeah, she kind of forces herself on May at one point. Which makes me kind of question why May is even still friends with her after that, because, like, holy shit. That's what one of the few instances in the show where I felt it really wasn't okay. Because, I mean, they're childhood friends. And Himiko apparently has had a crush on her for a long time. But I'm just like, I don't think the best way to go about it is to force yourself upon her. I'm pretty sure there's better ways to get her attention. And to tell her that you like her. Like, maybe not borderline rape her. Maybe consider that another time. And then we also have Matsuri. And oh my god, Matsuri. Usually I really like pink-haired girls, but this girl really got on my nerves. Because apparently she's a childhood friend of Yuzu. And also has been having a crush on her for a long time. She has probably one of the most fucked up I'm not sure I can say backstories, because it's something that is like currently going on when we meet her, but like apparently like she's supposed to be 13 and she makes money by catfishing old men and sending them fake nudes. Like, I mean, okay, at least she's not sending nudes of herself, but that still seems kind of fucked up, don't you think? Like, just a slight bit weird. A bit. So, but, well, I guess I've known girls who has been at that age who has done weirder things. Yeah, what else is there to say about the show at this point? I know I've been harping a lot on it, but I mean, the animation is pretty good. Even Matsuri and some other of the supporting cast that shows up and starts the drama and stuff, they do become somewhat likable people afterwards when they figure out, okay, well, I don't really have a chance here, so I'm just gonna, give up on it. But yeah. So, I mean, on my anime list, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Like it's a good show, not like super amazing, but I'd say it's definitely pretty good. Like if you're into Yuri or Shoujo Ai, I'd recommend it. You'd probably get something out of it. I enjoyed it overall, so yeah. If you're into that kind of show, I'm pretty sure you would enjoy this. Like the art and animation is pretty great. The intro and outro themes are really good. Like I really like those two. So yeah, I mean that is gonna be a thumbs up from me overall. So I that's it for me for this time, and I will see you on the high seas.